EU heads of state and government have been working the whole night and there is still no consensus on who will get the 5 top jobs of the European institutions. The Conservatives and the Central European countries have blocked an initial proposal. They do not want to see Socialist Frans Timmermans as the President of the European Commission. The Conservatives do not want to give up this very important position easily.
I think it's fair to say there's a lot of opposition to the proposal that was made in Osaka. From the EPP's point of view, the vast majority of EPP Prime Ministers don't believe that we should give up the presidency of the Commission quite so easily.
However, they are divided. Some even talk about a rebellion against Angela Merkel. The German Chancellor has been working hard at negotiating an initial list together with France, the Netherlands and Spain. Among the rebels was the Bulgarian Prime Minister Gojko Borisov, who finally left the summit to meet Frans Timmermans, which could mean the initial proposal is still alive. The Central European countries reject Timmermans because he has been very active in the defense of the rule of law. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has even sent a letter saying that this would be a very serious and a historical mistake. The leaders were at the center of many bilateral and multilateral meetings that have happened throughout the night. The chair of the Commission is the most wanted job, but there are other top positions at stake. A liberal could get the Council and the European People's Party, the Parliament and diplomacy. But the agreement must arrive before Wednesday, the day on which the European Parliament will vote for its own presidency. J. Marquez, Euronews.
Well, our political editor Darren McCaffrey joins me now from Brussels. Darren, it's been a long night, all this manoeuvring, and they still don't seem to have come to an agreement. Are they going to keep on trying or are they going to give up?
Well, at the moment, they are trying. It's been a long night and it looks like it could be a very long morning as well. Alistair, about an hour ago, the EU 28 finally reconvened after what, nearly a 10-hour break in which involved a whole series of bilaterals in which names and deals have been ditched, then revived again, then seemingly ditched all over again. This summit almost trying to be a record breaker. I think we have not seen a summit like this since the bailout talks involving Greece many years ago. Ultimately, what we've seen is Angela Merkel come up with a plan that involved, we think, Frans Timmermans becoming the next Commission President, a socialist, outside, of course, of her EPP grouping. But in turn, the EPP in part of that deal would get their man, Manfred Weber, in as President of the European Parliament. And the EPP would grab the Council presidency as well, with potentially Mr Macron getting the reward of Christine Lagarde, a Frenchwoman in the ECB. Now, that plan still seems to be somewhat on the table, though many are opposed to it, not least of all many within the EPP, who believe that it is giving up their political sway, and also amongst people like Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister, because he is not a terribly big fan of Frans Timmermans. So the negotiations continue, Alistair, and at the moment, who's it going to be? We really don't know, and I don't think they really know who it's going to be. These are very protracted negotiations.
There are so many different conflicting interests here. We've got an east-west balance. There's the gender balance also coming into play. Is it fair to say that once they can decide on that top job, the European Commission President, that the other posts should fall into place?
They should indeed, and one of the reasons that actually we're having this Council meeting today is because it's ahead of the European Parliament convening in Strasbourg later this week. Now, they're due to elect their president on Wednesday, and the plan is, even if there is no decision today, Alistair, for that to go ahead. Why is that important? Because it essentially ticks off one of those boxes. It ticks off one of the jobs, and in some ways it curtails then the choices open to the Council if they're not able to make a decision, hence why they're still keen to remain in control of this. But you're entirely right. One of the big problems, one of the reasons it is so difficult is there are so many moving parts, so many factors to take into play. There is the political factors, of course, which grouping should get which jobs. The EPP is still the largest party. It feels that it should still retain some of the top jobs, but ultimately the centre-right and the right no longer have a majority inside the parliament, hence why Frans Timmermans might be that compromise candidate. Mr Macron, the French president, has made it clear that he thinks at least 2 of those top jobs should go to women. And then there are the regional factors at play with the geographical diversity of Europe. So all in all, it is maybe not a surprise that they are still talking, and the possibility that if they cannot reach an agreement today, that we might have yet another EU Council summit on July 15th.